but now we will. It is 1:02, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon again. I'm Karen Cage. I'm the CEO with Realcomp. And you'll also see on the screen Tammy Cummings. She is our training and product manager, and she's going to be the one walking through the demos today of the two new systems of AdEdit and SkySlope e-signatures and documents. A couple of things I want to point out before we get started. Pardon me. Also joining us is Fran Green. You won't see her. She's hiding behind the logo there, but Fran is our marketing manager, and she's the one who puts all these lovely events together for us. A couple of things I want to point out before we get started. One, we're going to go until about 1:30 today. I'm saying that in advance because we're already up to 450 people on this call. I have a feeling we will not get through all of the questions that come up, but we will go ahead and pull those questions and get some answers and get them out to you. We're still working on the questions we got last Thursday at the other town hall meeting, so we'll bundle that all up and get it out to you. For those of you who are wondering why is Realcomp making all these changes, I would ask that you look at the video that we sent out last week that gives all of the details about why and how and when, and you can find that on Realcomp's YouTube channel along with the videos from these town hall meetings. And if you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. It's important to point out, this is one of the most important things I can point out today. The core system that you use every day for searching, our CO3, is not changing. It's not going away. It will be there just like it is now. What's changing is the way you put your listings in and what program you're using to send out for signatures and store your documents. That's what's changing. But our CO3 that you use every day is not going away. Dates for when these changes are taking place. It's unfortunate that we're still going day to day right now with those dates. There's so much uncertainty as to when Remine is actually going away. We're planning on the new listing AdEdit being available on April 30th. And that was also the day that we were looking for SkySlope to take the place of Docs Plus. If there's any chance that Docs Plus can stay up longer, then we're going to keep it up longer, at least for a couple of weeks until we can get through everybody's downloading their transactions, because we've had a problem with that. So we want to make sure we get you through downloading your transactions, get your forms loaded, and all of those things that are important. So the best thing for me to tell you right now is we're working toward that April 30th date, but keep watching every day for updates. We will not leave you hanging in the dark. I promise. I promise. Make sure that if you have broker forms that you use every day, you send them to us so we can get them loaded in SkySlope. There's no fee for you to do that. Send them to us. Take a look at them first. Make sure you don't want to make any changes, and then get them over to us in a PDF, and you'll send them to forms@realcomp.com, and we will get those loaded for you. The sooner you send them, the sooner we can get them loaded. There's a couple thousand already waiting in the wings, so get them to us. We want to make sure those are available for you to use when Docs Plus goes away. Also, you're going to see today when we walk through AdEdit, you may see that it doesn't necessarily say CoreLogic. CoreLogic has changed their name. They were sold. Pardon me, they were not sold. They were not sold. That was a terrible mistake to make. They just changed their name. They made they changed their name to Cotality, but they were not sold. Their name change was terrible timing for us, but I don't want that to concern you because all they did was change their name. Also, one thing I want to point out, all of the rules that are in place today when you're adding listings, who can change a listing, who can change a listing to withdrawn, who can do all those things, who can see them, all of those rules stay in place with the new AdEdit. None of that changes. When you have questions today, if you could put your questions down below where it says Q&A, that's where we'll go to get the questions. Please keep your questions to the subject matter of today, and those are the two changes we're making. This isn't really the platform for us to address things like, wouldn't it be nice if we had a field that did this? We want to hear those things, but just not today. If you would send those straight into support so we can consider that and we can start making a list of enhancements you want to see, we will certainly do that. But today we want to stay focused on the changes that we're making. Again, we're up to 500 people on this call. We want to make sure we get to as many questions as possible. So now that I have covered all of that, I'm going to turn it over to Tammy Cummings, and she's going to walk you through the demo of the two systems.
Hello, everybody. Happy afternoon. We have passed the Monday morning. We are now cruising into the afternoon. Let's take a look at the ad edit. You can see my ad edit screen now, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So when you access ad edit, you will be brought to this listings manager page. And you'll see that I'm logged in right now as a broker. So I can see all of the agents' listings in my office. And that way I can edit those listings. I can do whatever I need to do with those. The listings here are in what's called the grid format. We also have our list view up in the upper right hand corner next to that search box. We also have the option to look at a gallery view if you prefer that, and that has the photos on it. I think it's easier to look at the list view when you're trying to find a listing or edit a listing. On the right hand side of each line is an edit button, and that's where you go to edit a listing. And then next to that, there is 3 dots that says actions, and that doesn't show, oh, it is showing up today. That allows you to make, excuse me, status changes to your form, add an open house, etc. The other day when I was sharing my screen, it was immediately closing as soon as I clicked on it to open it. So we'll click on up here above those buttons that I was just talking about is the one that says add, and that's how you go in to add a new listing. So we'll click on that and take a look at that for a moment. When you click on that, it gives you the different property types. You need to select the correct property type. If you enter a listing into an incorrect property type, we don't have a way to change that. So you want to be sure that you're selecting the correct property type here. I selected residential sale, and it gives you the option to search for a listing or public records entry for that property. So I'm going to enter an address just to take a look. And it starts pre-filling when I start typing addresses that match that address that I've typed in so far. If I select that, it gives me a map, and I can verify on the map that it's in the right place, or I can drag that pin to another location if it's not in the right place. Then scrolling down, I can fill from tax records, from public records, or if I have listed this property previously while I'm at the same office that I'm in currently, then I can copy that listing. So maybe I'm looking to relist it and I've withdrawn it and I want to put it in again. I can copy from that old listing and fill in that information. At the bottom, I also have the option to skip to a blank input form, and that would not do any pre-filling. It would just give me a blank form to start from scratch and type in all of the information. When I click continue, you'll see that it assumes I'm going to go to an active listing. And on the left-hand side, it's giving me all of the different pages that have fields that I need to fill in before I can make that listing active. This is very similar. You'll notice that Add Edit here is very, very similar to what you had in Remind's Add Edit. So really there are a few differences, and I think that this transition will be very easy. In the dates section, it has a 2, and then both of those fields are in red, so that you know that you need to fill those in. In the upper right-hand corner, you see a toggle for view full form. If I turn that off, then I'm only looking at one section at a time. And that's up to you on how you prefer to put in the information, to fill in the listing. If you do it this way, then you can fill in the information and click next to go to the next field. I prefer to have it set to view full form, and that way you can scroll all the way down field by field. I'm going to pull up another listing so that it's not quite as empty and saves us a little bit of time, because you don't need to sit here while I fill in every field that's available on a profile form. I can search for listing by putting it in the search box. If I type that right. Okay, I'll select a different listing. Okay. One other thing I wanted to point out is you'll notice that the fields look like they don't have any choices in them. If you click on that field, then you get the choices that are available. If the field that you click in has only one selection allowed, then it will list all of those options. If it has multiple selections allowed, then it will have checkboxes in front of those options so that you can check the ones that apply. And then click off of that field to close the menu. So that's the difference, is whether it has checkboxes or it doesn't have checkboxes. Once you've finished entering the information on the listing, then you can go over to photos. And here you can upload photos that you want to display on your listing. You can put in the photo description. You can rearrange the photos. There are some tips at the bottom for taking and uploading good photos that will display on your listing. You can also delete photos by selecting the photo that you want to delete, and in the actions box, click delete selected. In addition to uploading your photos to the listing, this is also where you will upload your documents to your listing. They will no longer be uploaded into your forms program the way they are now with Docs Plus, where you have to upload them and make them visible. The visibility thing isn't going to be an issue because in Add Edit, you're only going to upload the ones you want to display. So they'll all be visible. So just make sure that you don't upload something that shouldn't be there. I'm going to go ahead and upload a document. One second. Choose one. Doesn't necessarily apply to a listing, but that's all it takes to upload a document. You select it and you click upload. If you decide that you uploaded an incorrect one or you want to change them, then you can select it just like photos and delete from here. They are called supplements in RCO3 Add Edit. So just know that a supplement and a document are the same thing.
It's also a good place to point out that all of the documents that are currently displaying on your listings in RCO3 will still be there. You don't have to do anything with the actual documents, the seller's disclosure and those kinds of things. Those have all been moved back. They really didn't have to move. They're already in RCO3 and they'll stay there.
Okay, and one more thing I want to show you here. So entering your data, again, you have another place to relocate your pin on your listing if you need to. When you're finished making your changes, you'll click the submit button in the upper right hand corner. That's your save. If this listing were incomplete, like the one that we started with, there's a save incomplete button in the upper right hand corner. See if I can find an incomplete real fast. Here's one. There you go. So if I've entered some information, but I haven't quite done enough to make it active, then I can click this Save as Incomplete button in the upper right hand corner. It will do saves along the way as you're entering your listing, so some of that information will be there. I find it a really good practice to every so often click the Save as Incomplete button. And especially if I'm leaving the screen, I would want to click that Save as Incomplete button just to make sure that it saved everything that I had entered. Another thing that we're adding along with Add Edit, I'm going to search this MLS number in the speed bar. And this is a new flyer. It's called Agent Full with Signatures. And if we scroll down, it has all of the fields that are on a form. So you know if you've missed any or need to go back and enter information, it doesn't suppress the fields that are empty like the other formats do. And so it's going to print on more pages, but it lets you quickly see if anything was missed. And then at the bottom, it has fields for signatures. So if you're at a client's house at a listing appointment, you could go through on your tablet and fill in all of the information in Add Edit. And then you could print this this form to a PDF, upload it to SkySlope, and go ahead and send it for their signature. That way you don't have the double work that you might have if you were filling out a profile form and then you go back to your desk and you have to start over again and fill it into Add Edit. So if you started in Add Edit, then you could go ahead and have them sign this flyer instead.
Tammy,
Yes,
is an incomplete listing and a partial save listing the same thing?
an incomplete listing and a partial save are indeed the same thing.
And are the partial save / incomplete listings also already available? They'll be moved over as well?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, nothing's really being moved over.
I know, but
All of that
they'll be
data-
available, yes.
Yes, all of that information is currently available in our CO3 and it will continue to be available in our CO3.
I saw that those were already a couple of questions, so I thought I'd knock them out while we were there.
All right. Okay.
Is there a specific place where people will add their tours and their virtual tours? Will they do that there as well?
Yes. Let me go back into,
I just saw that was a question too. Thought while we're in there, we might as well take a look.
there's a section on virtual tours down here at the bottom on the left-hand side. The very last one is virtual tours. And that's where you'll put in your tours.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what about the link with a photographer? Will that be available?
It will not be available right away. We do have that as an enhancement request.
Yeah, that was a big one. Okay. But it's planning on coming. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Okay.
It's an enhancement request.
Okay.
And make no promises until I see it.
I get it.
Any other questions regarding Add Edit?
Let me look real quick.
Oh,
Fran's looking too.
Yes. Open houses, is there a spot for open houses?
yes, that was in the pop-up window. Over here, along with changing status, open houses is one of the options here.
Okay.
And as far as creating a listing directly into Add Edit, when they're in Add Edit, they're creating a listing directly in Add Edit. Correct? I mean, they're in Add Edit.
That's Add Edit.
Right.
They will also be able to start a listing from a public record the same way that they can now.
Did you show photos? Did you show uploading photos?
Yes. I'll go back in.
And
Moving photos.
moving the photos?
Yes, moving photos. You can move them here. You can also check them off and number them and move them all at once. So if you click them as 1, 2, 3, I'll make this one 1, this one 2, and this one 3. Then you can move them all at once.
Except they didn't move. We did have a problem. I have to keep in mind. Oh, now they moved. Okay.
Yeah, there they go.
They're in there working on this while we're showing it to you. So if we have any hiccups, I apologize, but we're trying to make sure we meet our deadline.
And if we want to
Thank you, Tammy.
delete a photo, we can do so. Giving me a, are you sure?
And Tammy, if you've uploaded multiple supplements, how do you delete them? If you want to?
You same way, you check the box and you select delete in the actions drop down list.
if you check more than one and I saw select that you could delete all.
Yes.
Yeah. Or just one at a time. So people are saying they're having a little trouble hearing you, Tammy. So
Oh,
maybe you could speak up just a little bit. I'm not surprised when they say they can hear me.
use my outside voice.
Yes.
So the question, can we still start a transaction from the listing? That's a question that we have.
Well, we'll see that in SkySlope.
That's not in edit. You can start a
Okay.
listing from public records.
Okay,
Any other questions?
let's see here.
Somebody said, how did you get to that agent full with signature section? That's just by pulling up the listing and then choosing that report, correct? In the
Right.
down, okay.
I searched it in the speed bar. And that's the listing that comes up by default.
And
Great.
as far as what information is missing from the add edit form, you'll see that on the left-hand side, Lydia, just like you always did. You'll see the red dots or the checks or X's if there's data that's missing from the listing.
Yeah, there's red numbers. Here, I'll make one.
Well, she's pulling that up. No, you don't have to do anything with your listing history. All of that will stay available in RCO3.
So here's one that has missing information. I can click on the one and it will jump right to the field that's missing the information.
And yes, assistants do have the ability to, I don't think assistants will have to impersonate the agent they work for. They will have the rights to work for that agent. Is it like they did in RCO3 right now, like Teams, if they
Just like here,
Okay.
just like a broker, that in their listing manager, they'll have everybody's listings.
But what if it's an assistant to a one agent? What if I assist one agent and I want to put listings in on behalf of that agent?
Then they are going to have to, yes, they are going to have to switch to their ID up in the upper right-hand corner the same way that they do now.
Okay.
I see here, when do we start using this?
Well, we talked about that at the beginning. The date we're anticipating is April 30th, but there's a lot of moving parts right now, so keep watching, but that is the estimated date.
I see the question, will we be able to clone a listing?
Yes, that's copying a listing that if it's your listing, if you're the agent and it's your listing, you'll be able to copy it that way. That was right at the beginning when searching the address. You can either copy from public records or you can copy from a previous listing.
And they can move the photos to that listing as well, but the documents they'll have to reattach. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And yes, there is autosave. Tammy did mention that. But suggested that you might want to go ahead and save it every once in a while as well, but it will autosave.
Yes.
Dennis, we would love to have you come in for some classes in front of computers for training. Our training team is putting that information together. They'll be putting out those dates and times. So absolutely, we will have hands-on training. We've got many, many classes scheduled.
As well as webinars and recorded videos.
I think we should touch on this from Alex. It's talking about creating a listing from the form. You would actually use add edit as your form. You would type your listing into add edit and then go to that version of the listing that Tammy showed you that has the signatures at the bottom. So you've already created the listings and the listing, and then you can send it out for signatures. So you're not adding it to a form and then saying, okay, now submit it to the MLS. You're doing it all at the same time. Is that a good way to explain that,
Yes.
Ms. Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, we like that new photo numbering too. Sorry. We like that.
And did you show any Teams functionality?
What kind of Teams functionality?
To switch from one agent to another on the team?
Yes, that's what I was saying. In the upper right-hand corner where you would switch currently by your name, you'll do the same thing as you do right now. To switch in our CO3.
Can we bring that listing up one more time that has for the signatures? Would you do that for me, please?
Sure.
Lauren, you're not going to find this screen that Tammy's working on. It's not available to you right now. And unfortunately, it's not going to be available to you until the day you start using it. This is a hard cutover. One day you'll be using Docs Plus and the next day you're going to be using this. So you won't be able to play with it, but I don't think you're going to have any problems with it. It's pretty self-explanatory. So show how, when you went into this listing, Tammy, go back up to the top for me if you would, please.
Sure.
And this is called the agent full with
Signatures.
on file.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the bottom, again, like you just did, then that's where the signatures would be. But what you'd have to do, as Tammy said, you have to print it to a PDF, upload it into your signing program. If you're using ours, that's going to be SkySlope. And then you'll be able to send it out for signatures.
There. That's the PDF that you would upload to get signatures.
And I know we touched on this, but no, you cannot copy a listing that is not your listing. But you can't do that today either. So,
Okay, are we ready to move on to SkySlope?
let me just read Colleen's question really quick.
Okay.
I have my own admin login. Is there an option to switch to my lead agent or other in Remind Now so I can actually have the ability to put listings in, or would I have to log in as my agent? No, you can, if they're on the same teams, they can switch. She can switch, right?
Yep.
You can switch to Tim.
Using the switching at the in the upper right hand corner.
There's a lot of those questions. The date will not be before April 30th. Can it be after April 30th? Well, it could be, but I don't think it will be. I mean, we're so in the dark on some of these things that I do apologize. Forms are coming up. Yes, you can print the listing form and send it out with Transaction Desk. If you upload it, just like Tammy just showed you, if you don't use SkySlope, you can send it through Transaction Desk.
Yep.
You don't? Okay, Colleen does not have that capability. Do me a favor, Colleen, and send me an email and we'll follow up with you on that. So
That's the Teams functionality. So
Yeah.
if she doesn't
Yep.
have it up there, then the agent needs to go into Teams and add her.
right. So just send me an email and we'll walk you through how to do that or send you some information. And no, Jeff, the form's not going away. It's just an easier way for you to do it. You can still use the form. It'll still be available. All 19 pages of it or however many it is.
But you won't be able to submit it from
Correct.
the slope
SkySlope,
into
because one thing I really want to point out, SkySlope and add edit in Cotality / Matrix / RCO3 are two entirely different programs now. There's integration with the data that's being used, but when you were in Remine, and you're using Docs Plus and Add Edit, it was the same vendor, same backbone. So that's why you had some of those integrations that were a little tighter. Here, you're going to have the forms over here, signatures over here, and Add Edit over here. That's why we added that form that Tammy's looking at right there to make that a little bit easier for you.
One of the questions I see is, can you adjust the page size on the listing with the signatures?
You mean to look at right here or when they print it?
When they print it, I believe.
Well, they're going to be sending, they're probably going to be sending it for signatures electronically. So that would depend on the Zoom of the computer, the person that's using it. If they wanted to print they may be able to Zoom here. And that would probably be in their printer settings if they wanted to print at 150% or something like that.
Okay, I see a lot of questions about forms and signings and so forth, and we're going to, and Tammy's going to take you there. While she's getting there, let me just answer a couple of these really quickly. Transaction desk is not going away, not right now. They'll be with us for at least the next year. We're not sure what's going to happen after that, but if you currently use transaction desk, you'll be able to continue using them. So you don't have to make that change. Secondly, can you use SkySlope before the 30th? No, because again, none of these are available yet until we do the changeover. A lot of questions about Remine Pro. Oh my goodness, I don't have an answer for you on Remine Pro yet. That is not one of the solutions that we'll have in place. And we're looking hard at what might be a replacement, because I'm hearing from more and more of you that you do use that program and you don't want it to go away. So we're opening up our search to see what we can do to continue to provide that for you. Any listing you're putting in right now, up to the day that you open up Add Edit and there's a whole new system there, will be available just like it is today. You don't have to do anything for the listings. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything differently for your listing to keep showing up. It may pop up when you say, I need Add Edit. It may pop up a different screen like Tammy just showed you, but that's it. You won't have to do anything differently. If you currently have SkySlope, you'll have some additional integration, and you'll want to contact SkySlope about getting a discount since we're buying the signature part for you. So make sure you do that. First step, if you're listing your own new listing, just keep going like you do right now. Don't change anything. Just put your listings in just like you're doing. Nothing will change yet. We'll make sure that you know that. And yep, we're going to show you how to start a purchase agreement. We're going to show you all of that. So that was like rapid fire answer to a whole bunch of questions. I think I got them. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I think I got them. Okay. All right.
All right, ready to move on to.
Ready to move on. Ready to move on.
Okay. So I am now logged into SkySlope, and I'm logged in as a broker. And you'll see that the names underneath the addresses, I have a variety of names because I am the broker, and I can now see the transactions or the files of all of the agents in my office. If there's a certain one I'm looking for, I could search it up here. If I have more than I can easily scroll through, I can search for an address up here at the top. If I am a broker that does my own deals also, then I can click on my files and I just see my own files that I have and not all of those from my office. You'll see that it shows the file name, the representation, how many forms are in each file, and then how many envelopes. Envelopes are signing, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. So if I click on one of my files, then it pulls up the forms that are in there. I'm going to go back and start a new one. Just wanted to show you one that was in there already. You may see some of these ads right now as we're going through SkySlope. That's only because I'm in a test system. You will not see those ads when we go live with our real system. This is just a test system that they've given me some access to poke around and train and give you your little demo. So if I want to start a new file, then I click on create. And it says, who are you creating this file for? I could be creating a file for anybody in my office, but I'm going to create it for myself. My representation, I'm going to represent the seller. If there's a section here for primary client, so the primary person I'm working for. You'll notice that in here, there is no contact section. There's not a place for you to upload your contacts. If you downloaded your contacts from Docs Plus, you would upload those into your email program or your Google Contacts, or if you have a CRM program or RCO3, then you could upload them into there. Here, once you have, if you're dealing with a new customer, then you would type their name here. Let's see, I'll say this is Mary. Smith. And I could put her email address in here. Mary at smith.com. However, if I had a customer that I have done deals with before, and I start typing their name, then it is going to give me that option to pre-fill it. So even though there's no contact section, it does remember the people that you've dealt with before. So when you start typing their name, you can click on it and it will go ahead and add them to the file. When we go down to, is there a property yet? I'm dealing with a seller, so there probably isn't a property yet. And we will start typing it and it'll pre-fill, it'll give you the options for other properties that match that. If I were dealing with a buyer, then I could go here to import MLS data and pre-fill that from the listing because there is a property already in the MLS. If I scroll down, I can name the file by the address. I can name it by the primary client, or I can type my own file name in there. It's up to me how I want to name the file. Because I selected that it was a seller, my brokerage has set up templates and I have a seller's template here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that template. If we take, I'll come back to that. So I've selected that template and I can click create. So it has now added the 3 forms that I had in my template to my file. I have add forms. If I want more than just these 3 forms, I might need to add, I don't see that I have a lead-based paint in here, or I do have a seller's disclosure, profile form, and exclusive right to sell. So anything else, agency agreements, anything else, I would click add forms and go ahead and add those forms. To my file. If I have other documents that I want to upload, I might have, this is a seller, so I might have the city certification. I might have something else that was sent to me outside of the forms that are available. I can go ahead and upload those documents too. Or if I hadn't yet applied a template, I could do so from here. Then clicking on a form, I can go ahead and fill in the information that is required on this form. I'm not going to do that right now to save you some time. Then once my form is complete, if I'm ready for it to be signed, I can click down here in the lower left corner, prepare signature. And I can determine who needs to sign a form, who just needs to get a copy when it's done, or if there is no action by this person. So we'll say that everybody here needs to sign and click next. And then I have the option to do a couple of things here. I can obviously go ahead and send it out for signings, but we'll hold off on that for now. I can make any edits. I can make strike throughs or check boxes, add additional initials or signatures other than what's already pre-filled here. You'll see as I scroll down that I've got initials in the upper right-hand corner on these pages, and there's an orange and a blue. And those are the two sellers that I have, or one orange and really teal. And you'll see that the orange is every place that Mary Smith is going to sign, and the teal is every place that Kitty is going to sign. Scroll down to the bottom, and there are signature spots at the bottom. If I needed a strike through, I could go ahead and do that. While I'm here, I don't have to download it into a PDF to make edits. If I then needed them to initial, I can do that. And I can go ahead and send it out for signings. What I've found in my testing is that in the subject line, I would put the address in here. I don't remember what the address was, so I'm going to just make up one so I don't have to close it. And that way, if I at some point have to go back to my email and search it, it's easy for me to go back and find any documents that have been signed with this same address. I can type my message. I can't type. And you'll see at the top of the email body, I have some AI features that allow me to change the tone of the email. Do I want it to be professional? Do I want it to be friendly? Do I want it to be urgent? And it will give me different wording depending on that tone.
Or you can just type your own.
Or I can just type my own.
I'm amused that professional and friendly are two separate things, but okay.
There you go. There's professional. I hope this message finds you well. Once I'm finished editing this, then I can click send for signatures and it will go ahead and send it out. One question that we've gotten quite a bit is if I have multiple people that need to sign, will it send it out all at one time? Yes, it will send it to everybody at once. You don't have to wait for one person to sign and then send it to the next person. Going to go ahead and get out of here. And then you'll see in envelopes that, I'm going to go back to one that's already been signed. When I go to one of my envelopes that has a signing that's been completed, on the far right-hand side, there are 3 dots. And I can download the envelope. I can download the certificate. That's a signing certificate that shows when the signing was completed, when it was sent. I can rename it. I can view the history of this signing. I can print it, or I can share it by email if I need to send it to maybe the office assistant in my office, my broker, or another person for another signing. Okay,
And do I get an email when those?
you do.
Fine.
When the signing is complete, you also get this by email and with a link to the completed document. There's also an app that you can download and do much of your work through the app if you're on your phone. Okay, at the top above in the white line there, in addition to files, there's templates where you can set up your form templates. If you're the broker, then it gives you the option to, let me just add a couple here. Like I said, I can't type today.
Can only brokers set up templates, Tammy, or can agents set them up too?
Brokers and agents can set them up. Brokers and office assistants will have this option. That's what I was coming in here to show you, is the switch that allows this to be a broker template. Agents won't have this, but brokers can select whether they want it to be a brokerage template or just their own template. There's also a place to add clauses. If you, either your own clauses or a broker can set up brokerage clauses. If you have them in Docs Plus, they will not transfer over. Like Karen said, these are 2 separate programs. You'll need to, if you have clauses that you want to move over from Docs Plus into SkySlope, you'll need to copy and paste them in. You might want to copy and paste them into a Word document so that you have access to them, and then paste them into SkySlope.
And again, the forms that you have in Docs Plus will not carry over to SkySlope. You will need to resubmit those to forms@realcomp.com in order to be uploaded in as smart forms, and get them to us immediately so we can get them loaded as quickly as possible. I'm going to chuckle at the next one that says, is SkySlope owned by Remind? Absolutely not. It is not. It is a separate program that is used around the country. We looked at 6 different vendors before we chose one so that we could try to pick the right one. And so it is not owned by them. I think you answered about the sequential signing. Did you say you can have them sign all at once? You can send it out all at once for signing?
Yes.
Okay. can choose that.
And if you are submitting office forms, please make sure they are only your forms that were created by and for your office, not any board forms or Michigan forms or Realcomp forms. Those are already going to be in there for you. It's just your office forms, and send those over in a non-scanned PDF format and send them as attachments or in a zip file, please.
And Tammy, on Docs Plus, there was an option for sign now for a document that if they were sitting in their client's home,
These need to be sent.
they would have to send them, and then they could open it up while they were sitting there and sign it and then send it back. Okay.
I'm seeing the question, is there something we can tell our client to look for or search if docs are not found? Remind docs was sometime hard to find.
Let me double check the way it comes through. Go ahead with the next question and I'll, let me see what the title, exact title was.
And you,
Wait,
oh, go ahead,
one more, I'm sorry, Fran. Forms, it's just forms@realcomp.com. Forms@realcomp.com is where you'll send them to. Okay. Sorry, Fran.
that's okay.
The
Um,
the signings will come from you as the agent, and it will, the subject will be whatever you typed in as the subject of that email.
So that's how they could search it.
That's what they would look for.
So when brokers send their forms to us for programming in SkySlope, that is the process of making those forms into smart forms.
Yes.
So I'm just clear that question.
Yeah. And yes, you have to resubmit the forms, even though they're on Remind, you have to resubmit them so we can add them into SkySlope. They will not carry over. You have to resubmit all of your forms. Ah, two owners that use the same email. How does that work?
That's fine.
Oh, look at that.
And then we see here, will the board docs still include our brokerage logo?
No, it
Nope.
will not. The SkySlope does not have a way for you to upload your brokerage logo at this time. They do have that as an enhancement on their future roadmap, but that is not available at this time.
And then when combining PDFs, can you pick and choose which forms to combine?
You can, I assume it's which forms you want to send out of your file, and that's yes.
And then how do we as the agents sign the document?
In that that list of people, the agent had their own drop down list. Their agent was in that drop down list. So they would be included. So let me go into. So I am the. When I click prepare signature, the buyer's agent, for example, on this one, because it's a purchase agreement, is one of the ones in here, and I would say I need to sign also.
So then it would come to you for your signature.
Yep.
And then Tammy, when the file is sent to all parties at the same time, is there an issue with two people opening the file at the same time?
No.
And then the agent will get notified when the signings occur. Another question, if a name entered needs to be corrected or an email was input incorrectly, can you make corrections and resend the docs for signatures?
I'm just trying to get back to a signing here.
No, Sharon, there's no fee for you to add your forms. Just get them to us and we'll get them all loaded for you.
File details has the contacts in there. And that's where you would edit. And then you would edit the name or the email address, and then you would go ahead and resend the document.
And then Tammy, did you address if one of the signing parties is an LLC or a corporation?
Yes.
Okay, you addressed that. Thank you.
Yep. When you set it up, there's an option that it's a corporation or right here. If the client is a company, trust, or other entity, there's a checkbox.
Thank you.
So just clarification. As an agent, they cannot sign now on a doc any longer. They'll have to send it to their own email.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we are being asked about the Remind docs that are there and downloading those documents. And I've seen it a couple times. Has the signature issue been corrected? I don't know
No.
if you want to address that now.
Not yet. Keep watching. We're working. We don't have a good solution yet. But we know we have to hurry up. Now they can still print these forms and have an actual signature put on, can they not, Tammy?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't go away.
And then I do see the question, can an assistant sign for the agent?
Well, that would not be for us to say. That would be for the broker or agent to determine if their assistant has that authority. We can't. I mean, if you're asking, can you send it to the assistant? You can add them as a party to send to them, but as far as signing it, it certainly isn't for us to say whether or not that is within your company's requirements. Forms@realcomp.com, forms@realcomp.com. For those that are looking for to send their forms in. The forms you want us to get over is the current signed forms. No, Carmen, these are the forms that your brokerage uses. That you use when you're like the purchase agreements, what other office forms you have. That's what we're talking about today. The blank forms that you use in your dealings, buying, to send to your buyers and sellers.
And then, and you may have addressed this, Tammy, once documents have been signed and you download the file, is there a way to pick and choose which docs from the entire downloaded file can be combined in one PDF form? It says currently in Remind, you can pick and choose by selecting checkbox.
Once they've been signed?
Yes, he said once documents have been signed and you download the file, is there a way to pick and choose which docs from the entire downloaded file can be combined into a PDF?
I don't believe so. If you've got a signing, then it gives you the option to download individual PDFs or into one single PDF. But I'm not sure I understand the question beyond that.
Okay. Nimesh, maybe you give us more details if that does not answer your question.
Yes, the app will be available for everyone, the mobile app on SkySlope, for agents as well as brokers. No,
And then, oh, go ahead, Karen.
I wish, Michelle, that we could give you access to practice on. I really do. I know that it's a little frustrating, but the best I can tell you is that maybe both of them will be available at the same time, SkySlope and Docs Plus, maybe. We're just kind of in the dark on that. At that point, you'd be able to practice a little bit, but I can't promise that today.
Since we talked about teams in RCO3 with add edit, I wanted to mention in the upper right-hand corner where you see your initials, there's an option there for my team also. And so if you need to set up team members within SkySlope to have access, then you can do that in here also. And then they would see the other team members' files under all files, just like a broker does with the agents in his office.
Then I do see the question, will initial and signature blocks be pre-templated? Or will they have to be added in manually on each form?
They will be templated if you go into a programmed form, like your office forms or a board form. If you upload a PDF that you need to have signed, you would need to drag and drop those.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I see after sending docs out for signature and before they sign, is there a way to edit the docs and send them back out?
I'm sorry, can you read that again?
After sending docs out for signature and before they sign, is there a way to edit the documents and send back to them?
You would want to cancel the original signing, make your changes, and resend the documents.
Will you be able to get to SkySlope right from a listing, Tammy? To start an offer from a listing, will there be a link?
Yes.
Yes, Paul, you'll be able to start an offer from the MLS directly like you can now. Not a workaround yet, Christy, on downloading your transactions. I know that the time is ticking and we're doing everything we can to get you some answers. And as soon as we have them, we will let you know. Again, no, your disclosures that are already in Remine and visible to the MLS, you don't have to do anything with those. They'll be on the listings. Those are already on the listings. They're not necessarily on SkySlope, but they're on the listings that are in RCO3, which is where you want them. If you want them on SkySlope, you'd have to pull them in, right? Tammy, won't they have to upload them?
Yes.
But they will be on the listings.
So I'm seeing the question, this is regarding the meshes question. So Karen says there are multiple forms in a transaction. How do you download just the ones you want after signing? And you did show that.
Yes, when you go into a transaction or a file, sorry. If you have multiple documents signed in one signing, then you can download the documents. the envelope. You can download the documents as a single PDF or individual PDFs. So if you don't want all of them, then you could pick the PDFs that you want from the individual PDFs.
Read the next one too, Fran. Is that the same question?
They appear, both appear in the,
Yeah.
I think it is the same.
Okay. If two agents are listing agents or buyer agents, will they both appear in the transaction automatically, or will they both have to be added each time? Show how two agents on a team appear in these envelopes. Will our teammate automatically be in each envelope like Remind, or will we have to add the co-agent each time? I see you thinking.
Yeah. Start off. Yeah, it doesn't give me the option to add another agent.
Well, you could add them as another person in the file as an additional contact, could you not?
You could, but I
Fran?
Yes.
And everybody else that's still on the call here, 388 people. I have to say goodbye. I have another meeting I have to go to. You know how to find me and you know how to find any of our team. Please, when we're done here, if you haven't had your questions answered, I think I told you when we started, we were going to 1:30, which was ridiculous. I didn't mean 1:30, I meant 2:30. But if you have other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us because we will be happy to answer your questions. We'll look at those that we didn't get to, but I think we did a pretty good job of responding to most of the questions. And there's still a little bit of time here. So if we don't get to your questions, we will do that in writing and send it out, or feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. And well, I promise you, we're going to take good care of you. So I'm going to say goodbye for now.
okay, I've got adding another person. So when I start when I start a file, I can add the extra, the additional agent as a contact. And then if I go into contact file details, it gives me the option to change that person to an agent. So it will allow me to have an additional agent in there.
Okay, very good. And then Tammy, did you show how to cancel a signing?
In envelopes, I don't have any envelopes for that one. In envelopes, in the drop-down list, there's if it's been sent, but they haven't, it's over here, it's not showing here, but there's cancel in this drop-down list.
So cancel will appear once it has been sent but not signed.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then another question, can we download signed documents now, or do we need to wait until 4:30? And we're going to get more information out to you about that, so. Let's see. And then the question, how do you attach the seller's disclosure and lead-based paint forms to the listing from SkySlope after signature?
You don't attach it from SkySlope. You would have to download it and then upload it in Edit. Those programs are no longer attached, so you don't make it visible from the Forms program.
All right, very good. And I think we've addressed most of the questions.
Excellent.
So,
Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about the new program domii. So I've stopped my share there. And there's another program that we are launching in May called domii. And that is a security program. And just 1 second. Need to share. Okay, can you see my domii screen?
yes.
Okay. So domii is a security program and more for our agents. And that's coming out on May 13th. And they will have their own training program, their own webinar scheduled. Keep an eye out on the announcements for that. And we'll just do a quick run through of what's available. And it is a place where you can do criminal background checks. You can find extreme homeowner data, the federal do not call registry, extreme property data, and prospecting algorithms. And the biggest pieces of this are the do not call registry and background checks on people that you may be doing showings with. So first is the do not call registry. And this is all an app on your phone. This is not something that you access on your computer. This is all by phone. And it's not available yet, so you don't need to download it yet because it doesn't have Realcomp as one of its options because we haven't launched it yet. But before you call somebody, you would want to check the do not call list. And apparently there are huge fines for calling people, both state and federal fines for calling people that are on the do not call list. So in your app, you would put in the phone number and click submit, and then it will tell you if it's on the do not call list. And of course, you want to check that before you mark it to somebody. If you've done that, you also have the option to do a criminal background check on someone. And you put in their phone number. And you see in the center screenshot here, it tells you how many names are associated with this phone number, past and present addresses, and past and present phone numbers. It lets you know if they are a recorded sex offender or if there are criminal offenses matched to this person. So you can decide if you want to go on this showing or not. And then there's also a 911, which is kind of hidden so that people don't know that that's what you have up on your phone. And when you have the app open, if you click your photo in the upper left-hand corner, then that gives you the option to call 911. And it will give you a, are you sure you want to call 911? So you don't accidentally call them if you find that you are in a dangerous situation. The do not call registry lookup is, you have access to unlimited lookups on that every month. The background checks in the 911, you have unlimited calls to that. The background checks, you have access to 5 per month. If you need more than 5 in a month, then there is an upgrade that you can do, which is $9 a month to upgrade that 5 to more. And then there's extreme property data, where you can look up information on a property by putting in that property address. And it will give you information such as property view, sales history. You can export it to your CRM program. You can share it. You can save the prospect, send postcards. And here's all of the information that it provides in that, both homeowner data and property data. And you have access to 5 of these, but that's 5 ever, not 5 a month. And again, if you needed more than that, then that would be an upgrade. This is the upgrade for $9 per month. With being a Realcomp customer, then you do get a 25% discount on the first month of any upgrade that you do with them. And then they also have a prospecting system where you can purchase leads from them. And that information I'm going to leave for them to explain in one of their webinars if you choose to attend one of those. All right.
Tammy, could you go back to the slide that shows what subscribers will get through Realcomp at no additional charge?
Sure. I don't have that on here. I do have it pulled up though. Hang on one second.
Okay, thank you. So as far as the criminal background inquiry, each subscriber will be able to do 5 a month without any charge whatsoever.
That's right. Okay, so here's the included offerings. You see the PDF?
Yes.
Okay. Domii Detect, which is the criminal lookup, that's 5 per month. Domii Verify, which is the do not call lookups, that's unlimited. Domii Intel, which is the prospecting, where you look up an address, that's 5 free ever. Additional requires an upgrade. And 25% off the first month of upgrades. There are other tools in the app also that you'll want to poke around with, but those are the main offerings of the program.
And I see the question, when can we start using Domii?
May 13th is the launch. And they're also scheduling a webinar that same day, which we'll be promoting. So keep an eye out on the announcements for that.
right, very good. And the question here is, what does it mean to have access to extreme data? What is extreme homeowner data and extreme property data?
That's just their terminology for it. I'll pull that chart back up again.
And then I see the question, will realist tax data still be available? And yes, it will.
Okay. There's, you see the domii data domii provides screen?
We see the ultimate prospecting resource screen.
Oh, okay, that's not the one I wanted to have. You see 5 main features or data domii provides?
Yes, 5 main features.
Okay. What up on here? Okay. Data domii.
And then,
provides.
oh, go ahead.
You see
sorry.
the data domii provides?
Yes.
Okay. There's what they consider their extreme property data, extreme homeowner data.
Okay, very good.
That extreme property data is just their marketing terminology.
All right. And then someone is asking for clarification on domii nexus.
One second. I think I closed it. Um, Domii Nexus is deep links to share with a consumer. That they have a consumer app that you can share with your clients. And that is Domii Nexus. Let me pull that back up. Okay. Unlimited deep links for consumer sharing. And that is an app that you can send to your clients that is branded to you. So you can send properties to your client.
Okay, thank you. And then last question, do you have to pay for the 911 service?
No.
Okay.
That's included in your Realcomp offerings.
All right, very good. Well, we will wrap up with, we will send out a frequently asked question document just as soon as that has been formatted so that you have answers to those questions. And we thank you for joining us. So please continue to watch your email and your announcement screens for more information. But thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to launching these products and want to continue hearing from you. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.